Welcome to my channel where we cover the lore of Final Fantasy XIV. We cover the stories both big and small, the epic and the cute, the silly and the tragic. I hope you all enjoy the ride, and welcome to the Chronicler of Lore. After the events with Sulksagil and the Oathkeeper, Genlins has to admit that the work you've done has actually improved the reputation of the Paladins and made more people want to come and sign up. He actually thinks that you should go and see some of the new recruits. Hearing some words from the famous Paladin should help motivate the guys a bit. I guess he forgot that you're practically a mute, but you still head out to Camp Blue Fog anyway. When you get there, Owen, one of the Sultansworn, is well aware of how little you talk, so instead of giving a speech, he gets you to do a little fighting just to show off some of your techniques. Seeing how you fight is something that the recruits won't likely forget anytime soon. Back in Old Da, after Genlins tells you to keep doing what you're doing because it's working wonders for their order, Papashan shows up and tells you that he has something he needs to talk to you about. Sulksagil was still hunting the Oathkeeper, and he was letting Papashan know his progress by sending him letters. The last letter he sent claims that he found the sword, but since then he hasn't been in contact. He would have told Genlins, but he didn't want the man to worry, so instead he wants you to help him find the lost Paladin. The last letter he sent came from the Falcon's Nest out in Kurthis, so that'll be the best place to start your search. A man called 100 Eyes, a name he probably got because he's always looking in on other people's business, knows Sulksagil, and he knows that the man is very, very dead. He was killed by bandits, and 100 Eyes buried him himself near Camp Riversmeet. A young man named Constant took the death really hard, and he's been going out there to the grave a lot. You head out there yourself and find Constant being attacked by members of Death's Embrace. They undoubtedly had something to do with Sulksagil's death, so you finish them off. Constant, of course, is happy that you intervened since he would have been quite dead otherwise. He knows a surprising bit about the group, and he's been warning his friends about them, but they aren't really taking him seriously. You're gonna have to ask him about that later, but you get a call from Papashan to see if you found Sulksagil, so you're forced to let him know that the man was killed by Death's Embrace, likely because they were the ones who had the Oathkeeper, and when the Paladin tried to take it back, they managed to beat him. That's all just guesswork. For now, your only real lead is Constant, so you head back to Falcon's Nest to talk to him. Apparently Sulksagil had told the boy about you and he's excited to finally meet you. Sulksagil had saved his life when he had been attacked by wolves, and after that he had wanted to become a paladin. Sulksagil turned him down, but he finally gave in after he heard Constant asking around about the Oathkeeper. Despite training him, Sulksagil must have thought he wasn't ready to fight Death's Embrace because he went to get the sword back while Constant was away. He feels bad about not being there to back the old paladin up, so he decides to get the Oathkeeper back himself. And of course you're going to help him because while he may want to be a paladin, he's definitely not, and if he runs into Death's Embrace, he will definitely die. Constant goes through Sulksagil's stuff and he finds a journal with a map of the Gorgane holding. There was a spot marked on the map by the river, but nothing on the paper said why, so it makes sense to go and check it out. There's no telling what's there, so you better be ready for a fight. Constant actually found Sulksagil's old leg armor and put it on, so he could have a little bit of protection to his thighs. So if he gets attacked by a Lalafell, you should be fine. At the spot, you find Sulksagil's coronet, which means the man did go there. There's also a trail of frozen blood that you follow, only to end up getting attacked by members of Death's Embrace. There are a lot of them, so they likely made camp somewhere nearby, but they don't seem to have the Oathkeeper. Still, the group has done more than enough to deserve having a few new holes poked in them. The fact that they summoned a void scent to help them fight doesn't make you feel any more sympathy for putting them down. Constant doesn't do too badly in the fight, but he is a bit shocked that the two of you survived at all. But since you didn't find the Oathkeeper, it's back to Falcon's Nest you go to rest and think on what to do next. While the two of you think and plan, Constant tells you the reason he hates Death's Embrace so much. His mother was in a caravan that was raided on the road to Tailfeather, and until Sulksagil told him that Death's Embrace was responsible, he had given up on figuring out who had murdered his mother. Now that he knows, he wants to stop them so they can't hurt anyone else, especially since the group was targeting the people who didn't have wealth or power, since they wouldn't be missed by anyone that mattered. Constantine wants to be a hero for those people, so they'll know that there's someone looking out for them, in much the same way that there are people watching out for the rich. A friend of Constantine's from Tailfeather, Grimold, sends him a message saying that he has a letter from Sulksagil that he wants him to come and get. Since you don't really have any leads on the Oathkeeper, the two of you go to see what Grimold wants. The fact that the letter wasn't sent by a Moogle is weird enough, but having it sent was a part of Sulksagil's will, so there's no way to figure out why it was sent in such a strange way. The letter says that the Paladin left something for Constantine near the 100 Throws that'll help him become the man he was meant to be, so the two of you head off to see what the man left for him. The gift turns out to be a Paladin soul crystal and some more armor, which starts to make Constantine think he's being led around by the nose. He wishes he could ask Sulksagil, but it's kinda hard with him being dead, so the boy goes to his fallen mentor's grave to think. Surprisingly, Jinlin shows up there. Apparently he finally made Papa John tell him what happened, and he couldn't believe it, so he came to see for himself. Strangely enough, his presence causes your soul crystal and his to start glowing before your crystal steals the light from his. All the while, a strange robed man stares down at you all and smiles. Jinlin believes the man was watching Constantine, so he's likely a member of Death's Embrace, keeping track of the person who decided to continue Sulksagil's hunt for the Oathkeeper. Whatever the reason the man was spying on you all, Jinlin wants you to keep watch over Constantine while he goes back to Ul'dah and tries to figure out why your soul stones did what they did. Since he knows that Death's Embrace has the Oathkeeper, Constantine figures that the two of you should just start hunting them, and even if it turns out that they don't have the weapon anymore, getting rid of them would still be doing a public service since they're all pretty much horrible people. So, to start the search, he figures he should check with 100 Eyes since the man seems to know a little bit about everything. Plus, he wants to know exactly how Sulksagil died. Ironically enough, the man seems reluctant to give the boy any details, which means the death was either extremely brutal or there's something else he's hiding. But the man's not willing to talk about that or anything else, so you continue your hunt elsewhere. You ask around and find out that some people from Ul'dah recently snuck onto an airship that was bringing supplies to Camp Cloudtop and tried to steal some stuff. The Knights drove them off, but they're likely still in the area. They could just be some run-of-the-mill bandits, but it's still worth checking out just in case you found your targets again. Some Knights are already out hunting for the people, and you join them, which makes your job a lot easier. You track down Death's Embrace, and when you deal with them, you find a pair of Paladin gauntlets. It's so ridiculous that each hunt the two of you have gone on has led to the discovery of more armor that Constantine starts to believe that Sulksagil somehow managed to plan all of this. Back at Falcon's Nest, Constantine starts to wonder why the members of Death's Embrace had started acting like common bandits. It makes him wonder if Sulksagil actually took the Oathkeeper back and broke the organization before he died. Broken or not, he still plans on finishing off the rest of the group, but that'll have to wait. News comes in saying that 100 Eyes has been badly wounded. The man was out and about when he got attacked by wolves. He's dying, but he wants to talk to you about something, so you rush off to see him before it's too late. He tells you to go to Sulksagil's grave, dig it up, and give Constantine what you find. He mutters about this last act not being enough to make up for what he's done to his sworn brothers, but it's still something at least. The grave, as everyone should have figured out by now, does not have a body in it, which makes Constantine want some answers. He goes to try and get them from 100 Eyes, but the man is dead when you get back. Surprisingly enough, Papa John is there, and he takes you both out of the city to meet up with, you guessed it, Sulksagil. The man had set up this Batman-level plan because just finding the Oathkeeper wouldn't be enough to restore the honor of the Paladins. The sword had to be found by a worthy Paladin if it was going to mean anything, and a worthy Paladin has to be forged through trials and hardships. He can't simply be taught how to be one. The plan was for Constantine to figure all of this out on his own. He hadn't planned on you interfering. Papa John takes out his soul crystal as part of Sulksagil's plan, and Constantine's crystal steals the light from it just like yours did to Jinlin's. This causes your crystal to glow with a strange orange light, and Constantine's does the same, which makes Sulksagil smile. Each soul crystal represents the willpower of its holder, and when paladins are together, the other crystals may submit to the one with the strongest will. Your crystals are literally emitting conqueror's hockey at one another from One Piece. If you don't know what that is, then you have to go and watch that show, or at least read the manga, because that show is fantastic. The more paladins follow their path, the stronger their will grows, and when two strong wills clash, things could go bad, like exploding unstable ether bad. There can't be two alphas in a pack, so you and Constantine have to fight to determine whose will is stronger. The boy thinks that's stupid. Paladins are supposed to defend people, not fight each other for no reason, but that doesn't mean he won't do it if that's what it takes for him to be a paladin. I respect his resolve, but the boy should have known that he couldn't beat you. The fight is over in a few heartbeats. But apparently there's more, and Jinlins walks up demanding that Sulksagil tells you the whole truth. The soul crystal you had found at the 100 Throws belonged to the first paladin to wield the Oathkeeper. It used to shine brighter than any other crystal, but now both it and the sword are dull, which is why Sulksagil brought you all together. He has the sword and the soul crystal, and he plans on making them both shine again by handing them over to the most dominant paladin, you. He would use his own soul crystal to reignite the weapon, but he broke his oath by leaving the Sultan sworn, so it won't work. I'm going to take a brief moment to speculate that if the Oathkeeper glows similar to soul crystals, then the weapon is probably more like the Save the Queen sword from Baja than a regular weapon. Soul crystals store will and knowledge similar to Eorzea, which means that like the Save the Queen, the Oathkeeper may be a weapon made entirely out of Eorzea, but that's just a theory. In any case, you aren't the strongest paladin. Not yet. Not until you take down Sulksagil himself, and he is way stronger than Constantine. That still doesn't mean he can beat the Warrior of Light. It's not like he's Xenos. With the battle done, your soul crystal takes the light from the others, and Sulksagil hands you the Oathkeeper. The blade begins to glow brightly, proclaiming you the leader of the Paladins, but you don't plan on taking the job, so you hand the blade over to Jinlins. Constantine is a little upset at Sulksagil for being such a bad mentor, but he's happy he found a good one in you, and now he's free to serve as a free paladin just like he always wanted. And Jinlins vows to uphold the ways of the paladin, even if he never makes the Oathkeeper shine for himself. And Sulksagil finally agrees to stick around and help him. This concludes the Heavensward portion of the Paladin storyline. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and ding that notification bell. And if you want to buy me a coffee for my work, sign up to become a member of the channel. Until next time, guys. Later.